from the top. Okay. Drop that. Yeah.
What's up, Hoopers? It's Coach Alex from THINCPRO Basketball, and in today's video, we're going to go over some footwork things that make you a lockdown defender. Let's get started.
To Omega, VHS the beta, PlayStation the Sega, my skill is still greater. The sickest thing since VD, wicked like VG. Live my life crooked like the left finger on ET. Please believe me, this be the realest thing I ever wrote. Right after talking, the pot pumping on heavy smoke.
All right, guys, like I said, we're going to go over some footwork to help you become a great defender. Now, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join THINCPRO Basketball. Now, I'm just going to demonstrate everything over here on this wing, and the first thing we're going to be talking about is having a topside foot, meaning you're shading and forcing an offensive player a certain direction. Okay, so if I want to force my defender, or the offensive player, to the right, well, it would be to their left. I'm going to have my left side up. Right, so I've got my left foot up, forcing the ball handler to go to the left hand. Right, so if we know we're playing against a right-handed player who's maybe not a great dribbler with their left, that's probably the direction we want to send them. So whatever top foot you have up, so if I've got my left foot up, that means I'm forcing the offensive player to their left. Same thing if I had my right foot up, I'm forcing them to their right hand. So this would be in a case where you're playing against a defender who's more ball dominant on one side than they are the other. Like I said, if you're playing a right-handed player but they're not very good going left, you want to force them that direction. So it's all about your footwork. Okay, so rather than being even, you probably want to be in a position here and you keep them on one side of the floor or force them in that one direction where they're uncomfortable. Same if you're doing it towards the right. So playing with the topside foot is a great way to shade a defender, keep them on their weakness rather than giving them their strength, but it also allows you to still be on balance even though you have one foot up higher than the other. Again, this will be in certain cases where your coach will tell you or you'll figure it out on your own. How can you stop the offensive player? But having a topside foot is always a good way to become a lockdown defender.
Laugh now, cry later. My only dream in life.
All right, Hoopers, the next thing I want to talk about is playing in an even stance. So we just talked about having one foot up and forcing the defender or the offensive player in one direction. Now let's talk about playing even. What if the offensive player is great going both directions, dribbling the ball with the left or right hand? They're an elite ball handler. How do you play them? Well, this is a time where you want to be even, where your feet are squared and you're just really trying to keep the offensive player in front of you, not allowing them to beat you with the combination move or whatever it may be to create an advantage, but to give them enough room where you're gapping them by meaning you're giving about an arm's length away with distance so you can react in either direction, but you're in an even stance where your feet are about shoulder width apart, maybe a little wider, and you're long, you're active, but you're even in forcing them either direction because of their ability to go with either hand. So it's important that you give that space and that you're able to give yourself enough room to react. Because as a defender and playing lockdown defense, it's all about containing the basketball. If you can't contain the basketball, then you're not going to be able to become a lockdown defender. So if you can play in a position where you're forcing the offensive player one direction with the topside foot, and you can also play against an offensive player in an even position, this is going to allow you to take that next step in becoming an elite defender. All right, so an even stance, again, your shoulder width apart, maybe a little wider, but your feet are even and you're just trying to contain the basketball and not allowing that offensive player to beat you to create an advantage. Keep the ball in front, give the space, and be able to react to whatever move the offensive player gives you.
Life was the rock a mic in front of you spectators and rock shit.
All right, Hoopers, the last point I want to make is being able to leave your stance to recover just in case you do get beat. So whatever position you're in, if it's topside foot or if you're even, if the offensive player can get by you, how do you get out of your stance? Well, instead of trying to slide and continue to slide while that defender's moving full speed, be able to turn. From here, okay, they got the advantage to open and now turn and sprint and cut them off. Right? Because if you continue to slide as the offensive player is driving the basketball, your slide's not going to be as fast as them driving a straight line to the rim. Right? So you got to be able to be here. Okay, they beat me. I got to turn. I got to sprint, beat them to the spot, and be able to react and make a play. So if you can do all three of these, you'll be just fine in trying to become a lockdown defender. All right, Hoopers, that's it for today's video. A couple of quick tips to help you become a lockdown defender. Whether it's playing with the topside foot, keeping the offensive player in one direction, playing an offensive player with an even stance, getting out of your stance to cut the offensive player off and getting back into position. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, join THINCPRO Basketball. We're providing you with great content every single week designed to help you improve your game. Now, until I see you again next time, hit the gym, hit the court, lock somebody up, and remember to always keep hooping.